The first flurries are beginning to fall as the entire CSRA is expected to get at least an inch of snow. And this is possibly the biggest winter weather event in our area since 2014. I know a lot of us can remember that one. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Ashley Campbell, your First Alert meteorologist. Tim Strong joining us now. And Tim, you're expecting the snow to keep falling for most of the day.
Yeah, we're already, and earlier this morning, we had reports of a little bit of some light snow up around the Lincolnton area in Lincoln County, and even a report around the Hephzibah area. It was a pretty decent looking band on radar, but the air is so dry it might not have even been reaching the ground. But that's not to say that there hasn't been in and around the area. But we do have that First Alert weather day that's in effect through the afternoon and going into early tomorrow morning. Snow amounts may go up a little bit depending on what part of the CSRA you are in. We could be looking at 1 to 3, but in the southern counties that could go up 3+ inches. Now, more of the significant steady snow is still back across portions of south central Alabama, just kind of a between and south of Birmingham to Montgomery. That follows 85 into Atlanta. They've had reports of flurries, but this is going to be shuffling on through the rest of the afternoon, putting more of the measurable snowfall that we're expecting down. So you can see over the last 3 hours that band looked pretty healthy, but more than likely not really reaching the ground because of some really dry air. Here's where the areas did report a little light snow up close to the lake earlier this morning. But we're moving in closer and closer now to that open period of snow headed through our area, accumulating and staying on the ground through late this afternoon and tonight. So definitely we will have impacts, minor impacts for travels as well. So that's what you got to keep in mind. Once we really start getting that accumulating snow, it's not going anywhere. It will stick. So here's in the southern half of the viewing area where we do have possibly more of the totals getting 3+ inches, maybe along the areas along that winter weather advisory where we do kind of north of I-20 see maybe 1 inch to 3 inches, but lower accumulating totals continue as you head farther north. Now, talking about the winter storm warning and the winter weather advisory, they both go into effect at 4 p.m. until 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So we are also feeling quite brisk outside. The wind 5 to 10 is making all the difference in the world. It feels like lower 20s. We're no more than about 29 to 30, but we have the wind chill values that are sticking at about 20 to 23 degrees. So it's cold outside. We'll continue to track this and have much more on the full forecast coming up in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Tim. As this snow begins to fall, schools are already releasing students for the day. You're taking a live look right now at Blue Ridge Elementary in Columbia County, where early dismissal is underway. In the last hour, middle and high schoolers began their early release in the county. The school district says it's going to make an announcement by 5 o'clock today when it comes to school closures or delays. Aiken and Burke County students are also in the middle of early dismissal. That's the case for the majority of our school districts right now, even our charter schools and academies. Many schools are waiting until this evening to make the call for whether classes are going to be canceled tomorrow. If they are canceled, some districts say they'll send students home with schoolwork for e-learning. The list is way too long to even say right here, so here's what you can do. Go to our website, wrdw.com. We have a full list of school closures and more for this winter weather. And we are checking in with your Sydney Hood, who's live in downtown Augusta. Sydney, you've been driving around the city all this morning. Have you gotten a sense that maybe this area is feeling more prepared for the second round of winter weather?
That's kind of the vibes that I'm getting right now, Ashley. You can see behind me, this is downtown Augusta, this is Broad Street, and from what I can see from where I'm standing at right now, it's kind of business as usual out here. And I was curious to see how people are preparing, if we've seen a lot of people out maybe getting gas or going to the grocery store. And I can tell you the gas stations look about as normal as you would imagine on a Tuesday afternoon. Certainly didn't see any of those lines that we saw during Hurricane Helene, and we actually drove through the parking lots at Publix and Kroger on Washington Road. Didn't see any overflowing parking lots. So seems like people are either prepared or they maybe are going out later this afternoon. I do know that a lot of these grocery stores, we spoke to a worker at Kroger on Washington Road. They said that they're going to be open for normal for right now. So still time to go out and prepare if you haven't done so already. And then, like I said, just down here in Augusta, we are seeing a couple of city trucks driving around, kind of monitoring the roads. To the side beside me, I can see there's salt on the road. So it looks like they've been out preparing the roads and that aspect of things. But for right now, things are pretty calm. I haven't seen any flurries out here, so we're still searching for that. But yeah, we're going to be driving around, and if snow does start to fall and we see some kids sledding, we might stop and have some fun with them. Who knows?
All right, thanks for that, Sydney. It's great to see that you said the roads are being prepped for this winter weather, so we definitely appreciate that. Thanks a lot. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp holding a press conference this morning, just hours after declaring a state of emergency for this winter weather. He says the state of emergency is set to run until January the 28th, but that could be adjusted.
The executive order does the same things that we did a week or so ago. Authorizes up 250 members of the Georgia National Guard if needed. Lets DOT get to treating roads and things that they've been doing since Sunday. And this is a large area that Commissioner McMurray will give you an extensive update on what's different about what we're facing now versus what we faced a week ago.
Kemp also announced all state offices are closed today to help deploy other state assets across Georgia. Overnight shelters in Augusta will be open during this time. There's going to be free bus rides to the Augusta Rescue Mission, Garden City Rescue Mission, and the Salvation Army Center of Hope. To get a ride, you need to go to the Broad Street Transfer Facility or the May Park Community Center. The service runs from 3 to 8 p.m. If you need a ride to one of those locations, you can call 706-821-1719 before 8 o'clock to arrange that. If you can avoid it, stay off the roads today. Even if you are an experienced driver in these conditions, others may not be, and emergency crews are bracing for an increase in vehicle accidents. So if you do have to get on the roadways, Georgia and South Carolina DOT crews continue to coat many of our state roads with brine. Brine is a mixture of salt and water that lowers the freezing point on the roads. Crews started early because they can't treat the roads with brine if the road temperature is less than 20 degrees. So crews say so far they've hit thousands of miles of our roadways with brine. Good news to know right there.
Well, we've been brining the roads since Sunday morning at 7 o'clock. We hit I-20, I-16, and 520. All the interstates have been hit 2 times. We've got almost, or the majority of all the state routes. And that's like more than 7,700 lane miles worth of state routes because we're trying to get all 27 counties, all the routes in the district because this storm could impact that much area. So
a lot of work to be done there. If you're on the road and you do see a brine truck, crews are asking you to stay back at least 100 feet. Tim?